Hello, everybody, and welcome to our session today, Disrupting Africa's Road Safety Crisis, Youth-Led Solutions for Smart and Sustainable Mobility. It's great to see you all with us on this very exciting event. First, a couple of words about myself to introduce myself. I'm Avi Silverman, Deputy Director of the FIA Foundation. We're a philanthropy that focuses on the global road safety crisis and on sustainable mobility. So it's a great pleasure to be moderating and involved in today's event. And I'd particularly like to thank the UN Road Safety Fund for organising this session and for such great support on the issue as well. A word about youth, young people and road safety. It's not just that they play a critical role often in road safety, but often, as we're going to hear today, they are a major part of the solution. And we're going to hear how the young leaders here today have driven forward solutions for smart and sustainable mobility towards Sustainable Development Goal objectives. First, however, I'd like to introduce the UN Secretary General's Special Envoy for Road Safety, Jean Todt, who has been leading global advocacy efforts to save lives on the roads worldwide. Over to Jean. Thank you very much, Special Envoy Jean Todt. Thank you for your leadership and your powerful words and energy on this issue. It is indeed critical that we have young people at the forefront of our advocacy. So first of all, I'd like to introduce our panelists. We're going to have a couple of minutes from each of the panelists to tell you about themselves and what they're doing. First panelist is Bunmi Popoola-Mordi, who is the Executive General Manager of TotalEnergies Marketing Nigeria. And I'd like to start, Bunmi, really by inviting you to give us a bit of background about what you've been doing and to share a little bit about the TotalEnergies Startup of the Year Challenge, some of the initiatives you've been doing and how it advances road safety solutions. Bunmi.
Good afternoon, everyone. From my side of the world, it's very much afternoon still as well. So it's a pleasure to be here today. I'm Bunmi Popoola-Mordi. I work for the Total companies in Nigeria as Executive General Manager of the Total Country Services. Part of my brief is to run the communications team for the companies in Nigeria, and also head of CSR is one of my domiciles at the MS part of the business, the downstream side of the business. Today, I'll be sharing with you a little bit about the Startup Challenge and the role it has played in youth youth inclusion. One of the things we do at Total, one of our key drivers for corporate social responsibility, one of our 4 levers, we have 4 major ones, but one of the most important ones is about focusing on youth inclusion and education. It's one of the things we are passionate at TotalEnergies about and that we support. So I'll tell you a little bit about the Startup. The Startup of the Year is an initiative which we're running. This is the 3rd edition. We're into the 3rd edition right now. It focuses on promoting young talent and supporting entrepreneurs, the entrepreneurial drive of young people and businesses by providing financial support, coaching, networking, and mentoring opportunities for them, and of course some seed capital. And basically, this year, all the we've run 3 years. The edition opened up last year, and it's and encouraging the entrepreneurship spirit, and it's targeted towards people who are basically between 18 and 30 years old. So we've been in Africa for TotalEnergies has been in Africa for quite a number of years. If you look at the spread, I believe in some countries, I think it is Morocco, it's about 90 years. 70 years in Senegal, Cameroon, Ivory Coast, Tunisia, 60 years, and in Nigeria, about 66 years presence in Africa. So beyond the number of years, we're talking about a solid presence in Nigeria and, of course, Africa, and a partnership with our stakeholders, which is above all a real asset. It's about partnership with our stakeholders. So the Startup went ahead despite the difficulties with experience in the world today, looking at COVID, looking at so many other things that have played up over the last 2 years, because we're still very much in the post-COVID era. But it is the proof of our commitment to the continent, and more importantly, Nigeria, because I'm speaking from Nigeria today. But it's been run across 32 countries in Africa today. And it is about capacity building for the young people. It is about our affirmation to that commitment that we've given. And the aim is to provide a solution to youth. And what is the program really, the challenge really about? It's open to, of course, I said, people who are 18 to 35 years of age, and persons with ideas or projects or startups from any field of activity that are less than 3 years old. The business must be located in any of these 32 countries, and we're looking for ideas that will have positive social impact, societal impact, and then projects that are potentially beneficial on a large scale. And they will be assessed on, these projects will be assessed based on several factors, including the innovation, social and community impact, feasibility, development potential, as well as an alignment to the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. We as Total ratified that charter in, TotalEnergies ratified that charter in 2016. So today, if you look at how we have supported some of the projects that we have, that came through the startup, have been involved in road safety or supporting an element of road safety over the years. But most importantly, it's also impacted and looked at youth unemployment and education of youth from different perspectives and different for us. So today, we've had different winners doing different things. But I think the one that's probably closest and most important to road safety are the people, those who have developed apps that allow people connect reliably with certified technicians who work on cars. These people have been certified across the spectrum by different entities. And so those are some of the areas that we've worked on at TotalEnergies in terms of support today. And these projects commenced, like I said, last year, and we're currently in a phase of trying to whittle down to a number of 15 persons who will then make a presentation to a jury, and the jury is a local jury in across each country, and the jury members will then make a choice as to three winners. So the three winners, of course, based on innovation, sustainable development, and feasibility of development. And the three categories are the best business creation idea. The second one is best startup under 3 years. And of course, we're also looking for the best female entrepreneur. So we hope to be able to announce this by the 13th of April this year.
That's fantastic to hear, and it sounds like an excellent initiative, and actually moves on very nicely to our next panelist, who does focus on entrepreneurship. It's Claire Louise Sterngold, Community Manager for the Youth Entrepreneurship Initiative at the International Trade Centre. And I'm going to get you to tell us a little bit about yourself and the Youth Entrepreneurship platform and how it can be an engine for youth-led solutions. Over to you, Claire.
Hi, Abby. Thanks so much for this question, and thanks to UNRSF for partnering with the International Trade Center's YAY community to organize this session today and to raise awareness on the crisis that is road safety across the continent, and also the potential impact that youth entrepreneurs can have in developing safe and sustainable mobility solutions. For those that are not familiar with the International Trade Center, ITC, as we call it for short, is the joint agency of the United Nations and the World Trade Organization, and we operate and manage the YAY community for young entrepreneurs. ITC has a mandate to support small and medium businesses to enhance their competitiveness, to engage in international trade, and to spur economic development while doing so. I thought in speaking a bit about the YAY community today that I would actually begin with a story. So I'd love to share the story of Julius Odida, who is a young entrepreneur from Uganda, and he is the founder of the Youth Initiative for Economic Transformation, or YEET, and he actually joined the YAY community in 2018, and I feel is a great example of someone who has really taken advantage of this community to its fullest potential. He has been able to connect with more than 5 different mentors since he joined the platform, and has really been able to use the community to help him navigate the fact that he was missing some critical skills when he initially joined in 2018. He was missing this access to networks, which we know is so key to young entrepreneurs when developing their businesses. And actually maybe appreciated is he was missing that encouragement from people who were in the corporate sector or had been through some of the challenges that he was facing to really push him through those tough moments. So Julius joined in the global platform and took advantage of various competitions that we ran to spotlight his work and his business. He also was able to tap into masterclasses and other workshops that we run through the global platform. And then he was able to leverage our tools database, where we have over 170 different technology tools that can help young entrepreneurs to access, to support and operationalize their various business processes. And then, of course, we have our country guides on the platform, which can support young entrepreneurs who are just starting up to understand the various legal aspects, taxation, and what government agencies, as well as other entities, are active in their ecosystem, which they can turn to for support and what they need to think about when starting up. Beyond all that, he was also able to take advantage of what I would say is the backbone of the community, which is our mentor database. So we have more than 300 mentors from over 105 different countries, I believe now. And these mentors can help young entrepreneurs with everything from financial management to business processes to just building public speaking and general confidence. As I mentioned before, Julius now has 5 different mentors, some coming from Europe, some coming from the US, some coming from Africa. And together with these 5 different mentors, he's been able to successfully fundraise, connect with others in these mentors network. He's also been able to set up his website and also scale up the operations of his organization. So once again, I just wanted to share that this is a perfect example of how the more than 30,000 young entrepreneurs and business mentors on the Yay community support one another, and how they're able to really, and how young people can really tap into this community to get their business through some of the toughest elements and to spur those innovations and make them into a real operationalized business. And just some quick facts for you, Avi, and for the people in the audience, more than 80% of mentored businesses have witnessed long-term success and growth. And in our survey that we conducted with community members in 2021, more than 80% of the entrepreneurs said they were interested in working with a mentor. So the platform really provides this space to connect the need with the expertise. So that's the Yay community in a nutshell. And this partnership with UNRSF, we're really excited about because we didn't have any specialized support for young entrepreneurs working in mobility. And together with UNRSF, we've set up a specialized network where we will be able to tap into UNRSF's network of partners who have specialized expertise in this space and connect them with young entrepreneurs to support with mentorship, live trainings, inspirational talks, and to connect them to one another to share best practices and to spur engagement and ideas. So really looking forward to building out this partnership with them. I've already connected with a number of opportunities through their network and looking more to bring that to life this year. So yeah, I will stop there. There's so many more examples of these success stories on the Yay community, but I've shared the link in the chat, and everyone who's here is more than welcome to join this community and really tap into all that it has to offer.
Thank you very much, Claire, and it's incredibly inspiring work that you're doing and incredibly useful as well, the sort of support that you're putting in place for young entrepreneurs. I know, fascinating to find out more as well. Next, actually, over to very interesting initiative, a person that we have on the panel, Damiilola Olokesusi, who is CEO of Shuttlers. And Shuttlers, you know, be fascinating to find out a little bit more about Shuttlers, how it leverages technology and AI tools, really innovative work here in its business model, and how road safety is positively impacted by that. Damiilola.
Thank you for the introduction. Thank you, Avi. My name is Damiilola Olokesusi. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Shuttlers. It's great to be here. The work we do at Shuttlers is to ensure that, the reason why we entered into this business in the first place was to ensure that people like myself, female commuters, and part of the vulnerable part of the populace that commute on a daily basis have an option to access something that is safe, comfortable, yet affordable on a platform like Shuttlers, and that's why we are in business. So that's what we're doing. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. You had frozen momentarily. Carry on. Okay.
All right. So I said that we are in business because we decided to solve this problem, looking at the eye of a female user, challenges that I myself, faced while trying to use public transportation. My sister was a victim of the safety challenges that female commuters face while using public transport. She was kidnapped, but she was released, thankfully. We called that kind of bus, one chance. And that is why we decided to create this solution, because we realized that we couldn't wait for the government to make this right. And we created a mass transit platform where we could ensure that we put systems in place that it's safe, it's affordable, and comfortable at the same time. So we have a predictable bus schedule system on our application that ensures users are able to book ahead before time. We also help them to track the bus arrival and departure time of the bus, so that they don't need to stand aimlessly at the bus stops, so that when those unsafe situations happen at the bus stop, they won't need to be there when the bus is not yet there. So we used technology to enable that communication between the driver, the bus, and the user. That's how we're solving these road safety challenges and how it affects the passenger on our platform.
Damiilola, thank you very much for that. I mean, it's a really important initiative that you've come up with there, and excellent work that you're doing with Shuttlers. And we'll be fascinated to hear more about that. It's a huge issue, the safety security of women on transportation, and one that needs a lot more attention and focus. So great that you're doing that. Next over to Kenneth Mulinde, the youth leader from the Global Coalition of Youth for Road Safety, yours, who is taking forward some very interesting work, quite a different angle than what is often done on road safety, but one that really does promise to bring quite an impact in terms of using creativity and art for road safety, and blending that with the advocacy and activism. So over to Kenneth to tell us a little bit more about that.
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Kenneth Mulinde. I'm a youth leader from the Global Youth Coalition for Road Safety and the founder of Youth Arts Movement Uganda. I'm a passionate digital media artist and social entrepreneur, and I enjoy my work. I enjoy working with young people and creating change in my community. So I started Youth Arts Movement Uganda as a space for creative exchange and knowledge sharing between the young and established creatives in and outside Uganda, with the sole purpose of inspiring imagination, collaboration, and entrepreneurship. Understood that to thrive in this ever-changing environment, young people needed to realize their inner potential to collectively claim their place in the world by being the first responders to global challenges like road safety. So to date, we have equipped young people with skills in digital media skills and creative technologies, which skills are heavily needed in today's world as business solutions, but also as mobilizing vehicles for organizing and mobilizing for social change. So with the Global Youth Coalition for Road Safety, the tools and resources we provide the youth not only strengthen their professional development and financial muscles, but also equips them to lead evidence-based social justice struggles in their communities through participatory and non-violent actions with goals that potentially generate a return on social well-being, society at large, especially those that are focusing on addressing road safety and
I think we may have lost you slightly.
I have passed. Okay.
We hear now.
Oh, good. So I wanted to share an experience of some of the work that I've supported as an artist in road safety work. So I have supported the coordination of art-driven road safety projects like the Lockdown for Youth, and Art for Road Safety campaigns that were initiated by Youth for Road Safety and the Coalition, including my own local action on gender and road safety, which is called Safe Ride, Be Road Smart. All these campaigns succeeded because we leveraged youth creativity and youth power to massively create awareness on road safety and continuously advocating with authorities to improve law enforcement on helmet wearing, speed limits, and street violence through petitions, dance protests, song videos, and visual arts expressions. So with all this, art has proven to be the most effective mobilizing vehicle for social impact projects, where participants create change while having fun and earning a living from their own creative interventions. So currently in Uganda, my local action project has petitioned the Ministry of Works and Transport to urgently improve public safety by positioning gender-responsive perspectives in public transport and positioning laws that respond to the safety and travel needs of vulnerable travelers, specifically the girls and women who are abused and violated in public spaces, including within the public transport system. So we've pushed for the implementation of the 30km/h speed limit in school zones and market areas, and increasing youth and women participation in road safety decision making. Creative activism is simply another way of empowering people to speak to power in ways they know and understand best. And in practice, it empowers individuals, regardless of their backgrounds, to engage in socio-economic opportunities, most importantly, cracking their own unique approaches to business and entrepreneurial opportunities and ideas. So we at the Global Coalition continuously push for safe mobility, for road safety and sustainable development, and all the sustainable development agendas that respond to the well-being of people regardless of where in the world they are, especially the young people. So thank you very much. I just wanted to share with you that experience and how art plays a critical role in advancing the fight of reducing road deaths from road crashes, reducing youth deaths from road crashes, but also contributing to the struggle of a better, livable, and sustainable world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kenneth. I mean, that's excellent work. And like all the panelists, I think, tremendous linkages with other key issues that are connected: street violence, gender rights and equality, women's security and safety. Very, very interesting indeed. And our final panelist to go over to just now is Ricky Rapa Thomson, co-founder and director of operations of SafeBoda. A very incredible work that's going on, led by Ricky, looking at informal transportation and the issues that we have with motorcycles, with Boda that are increasingly across Africa, and really how you've confronted that, and how elements as well, like what we've faced with COVID-19, you've confronted, and how it's impacted your operations, and how you're taking it forward in general will be fascinating to hear. Over to you, Ricky.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for being here today. I'm quite happy and proud to see Kenneth as well here. We've also worked with Kenneth a little bit on some of the activities that he's talked about. My name is Ricky Rapa Thomson. I come from Uganda, East Africa. I'm one of the co-founders and director of SafeBoda. The story of SafeBoda starts from myself and two other friends who were good customers and good users of the border service. Given that I was around 2010, I had my own share of experience when I entered. One of the biggest problems that we had in the industry was the lack of identification, was the fact that there was a lot of discrimination in the industry. And really everyone felt like there was no need for the border industry. People hated the border for whatever reason that they had because of the bad reputation that the industry had actually created. While for the people here, border provides an overwhelming amount of employment to young people. You talk about an industry that accounts for over 1 million of opportunities already in Uganda, and account for close to 15% of Uganda's national GDP. And basically, according to design of the city, especially the Kampala city, and other cities across Africa, border plays a very, very fundamental role in making sure that people are able to move. I remember very well, there was a time here when we had the lockdown and borders were not allowed to carry people. Literally nothing could move on in the industry. Nothing could move on in Kampala. Now, given that I was in the industry, the story of SafeBoda basically was about promoting road safety and making sure that people are safe. As a person, I lost a very good friend during the time that I was doing my border riding to a border accident. And I started off as an advocate of road safety. Just like Kenneth also stood up for other young people, I stood up for my people as well and made sure that I started advocating for helmet wearing as a person. And then when we joined on as teams, as a team and as partners, we could advocate for the betterment of the community. The reason was very simple. The UN report actually of 2018 clearly states that I think around 10 people die of border accidents in Kampala every single day, especially in Uganda. And for me, for people who have been to Kampala, is there's no way you have not witnessed a border accident happen, or you know someone was been involved in a border accident. Close to 50% of the people that end up in the trauma ward in Mulago Hospital, which is the regional referral hospital, comes from border related accidents. And border accounts for close to 50% of the entire accident statistic that we have to deal with in this country. When we started, it was very simple. One is that we needed to come together as a team and have clarity and have some sort of identity, which is very important. Two is that after that, we actually realized that the reason there are a lot of accidents happening on the streets was the lack of knowledge. The biggest problem that we have in not only in Kampala, but in other cities across Africa, I have been informed that there are actually over 10 million motorcycle taxis across Africa. The biggest problem that we actually have, and border literally have taken over cities, is that it's just very, very easy to become a border rider. You just get your motorcycle, jump on the road, people will stop you, especially in Kampala, and you start carrying people. This is the disaster that we continue to see. This is the problem that has continued to escalate at different levels. Because of that, we realize that the border industry cannot become better. These young people will continue getting involved in accidents. Maybe they will die. Maybe they will get into trauma wards. Maybe they will break themselves. And they make very simple mistakes. So we work with the Global Road Safety Partnership to design a special training for these border men. Work with Uganda Red Cross Society to help train our borders to become responsible people. People can offer fast responder whenever, fast aid whenever there's an emergency. Worked with Uganda Police so that the border men or the SafeBoda community can always communicate and inform police of any of these challenges. Now, before us actually, and that actually brought a lot of change to the industry. Because of sharing this information and designing special training for these people, we have seen a great reduction in accidents and fatal accidents, to be specific, but also most importantly in the behavior of our drivers. Today, as I speak, I think our drivers and all the people want to be like us, stop by the traffic light and respect the rules and communicate well with other road users. This is a big change in the industry. Before that, you will find a borderman carrying 3 people on a motorcycle, riding as they wanted. Before us, actually less than 1% of the passengers used to wear a helmet. Of course, we had a very difficult time during COVID, and that affected our statistics as of today, because really there were all this discussion about preventing COVID and sharing helmet and how that would contribute negatively in terms of numbers, in terms of the spread of the virus. But as I speak today, you have more customers wearing helmet. I think we have close to 30% of our customers today wearing helmet. But most importantly, and this is something that we're proud of, is that 99.9%, I leave 1% for myself, but 99.9% of our drivers actually wear a helmet. This is a big jump from the numbers that we've had in the industry. Before us, I think around 35% of the drivers used to wear a helmet, and literally over less than 10% used to have good, which we have to provide in the industry. Would actually today we are proud of a small initiative that's Uganda been able to expand across East Africa. Of course, we were in Mombasa and Nairobi, but because of a difficult situation that we went through as COVID brought about by COVID, we happened to withdraw. But we've also been able to expand the same service to West Africa in Ibadan. But most importantly, our drivers are very happy. The country actually right now, as I speak, are working on the regulation to improve on the safety of border users, border riders, and the benchmark is actually being done in Chengando, Kampala, Uganda, on SafeBoda, a local initiative that has actually grown to become a pioneer in this sector. I think I don't know how much time I have, but I would stop at that and possibly respond to other questions as well.
Sure. Yeah, you'll absolutely get a chance to go into more detail as well. But that was a really excellent explanation of the work that you're doing, and it's a credible SafeBoda initiative that you've been running, and such a positive solution to a huge issue that many countries in Africa face with boda with motorcycles. So to move on to our panel just now, what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit of panel interaction, which should be very interesting and should bring forward some really interesting engagement between our panel members. We're going to have a question from each of our panel members to another member of the panel. So what we're going to do to start off with is have Damiilola, who has a question for Bunmi, and I'll have the two of you have a bit of dialogue together and ask the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Avi. Great to speaking with Mrs. Bunmi here. We'd like to know, does TotalEnergies have any other programs that support road safety and transportation? I also know that our operations team is trying to partner with TotalEnergies. We have like two different conversations going on, and I'm sure that we would even have like a side discussion after this panel conversation. But it would be good to know if you have programs in place that support road safety and transportation, or you have initiatives or collaborations in place for this.
Thank you very much, Damiilola. We're both in Nigeria, but we're meeting in a dish. So thank you very much. Okay, for TotalEnergies, we have quite a few programs in place that support road safety. I'll start with one of the building blocks that we have. We talked about youth inclusion and education. And one of the things we've done over the years is a program called VIA, wherein we go to the schools with the support of the Federal Road Safety Commission, and we train students, pupils, typically children at primary school level, how about road safety in terms of how to conduct themselves on the road, how to read road safety signs, and how basically to ensure that they're safe when they use the roads. Of course, you know that in Nigeria, the nature of our society, we also have quite a number of students who have to go to school by themselves. And I think that's pretty much the same for quite a number of other countries in the world. So we do train and support these children to know how to conduct themselves safely on the roads, read road signs, cross the road, and take care of themselves whilst they're on the road. Then also going to beyond this building blocks, we've also got something called the Truck Drivers Training School. It's actually based in Ibadan, somewhere in Oyo State. And basically what we've done at the truck, because Nigeria is replete with road accidents every day for different reasons. So what we've done is, and we've realized that one sector's been neglected are the truck drivers. So what we do at the Truck Drivers Training School is that we take them in, we train them on how to drive safely, speed limits, and of course we also do this in conjunction within the Federal Road Safety, Commission rules. And this is one of the ways we've supported to ensure that the roads in Nigeria are safe for other road users. And another thing that is also very important about the Truck Driver School Training School is that there's simulation trucks there that they use for driving, so that they're able to understand how to navigate. Because what tends to happen is people just sort of get they just take a few lessons, or they've been bus boys, as they call them, and then they start driving. So we also support to make sure that they do understand the norms of the road users and what to do in terms of road safety. So that's part of what we do. We've trained out thousands of drivers since the school opened in 2016. So we've trained thousands of drivers, and we'll continue to do so.
Thank you so much for answering, my question. I see, a huge reason why, the truck training school is at Ibadan, because there are a huge menace between the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, where they park on the wrong places of the road, and then they don't drive well and causes tons of accidents on that particular road. So thank you very much. I'm sure everyone here is also taking cues on what we can learn from Total initiative. And well done, and kudos to you. Over to you, Abby.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Damiilola and Bunmi there. Very interesting to hear all of that. And just to ask all the panelists quickly, if you can put your videos on for the whole of this session, that would be great. When you're not speaking, obviously stay on mute, but if you can have your video actually on for us, all of you, that would be great. Next we have Kenneth, who's going to speak to Claire. He's going to ask a question of Claire. So Kenneth and Claire, let's have you.
Thank you very much. So my question goes to Claire, and here goes. How have the young entrepreneurs in the informal sector been supported to strengthen their leadership and participation in achieving the development agendas on road safety and safe mobility? Yes.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Kenneth, for the question. And I just wanted to say that I was really inspired by your intervention earlier. I could really feel your passion even coming through the WebEx screen. I just want to start off by saying the Yay community and ITC's intervention in road safety is quite nascent. We are really just getting into the space with our work with UN Road Safety Fund. But we have been supporting a number of young entrepreneurs in transportation, as well as in mobility and logistics through the platform. And I wanted to stress that within ITC and the Yay community, we support young entrepreneurs at the idea stage, so before they have a formalized business, and also those who are already active in the market. And within the platform, we do not distinguish between those who are able to take advantage of certain opportunities just because they are formalized or if they are not. All the opportunities that are present on the platform, such as taking advantage of the mentors, such as joining the Yay chapters and connecting with the events happening locally in Uganda, which, as we have two people here from Uganda, I traveled to Uganda in 2017 and 2018. I took a boda myself when I was there, and I actually saw the SafeBoda drivers in action. Any young entrepreneur from Uganda, regardless of whether they are formalized or not, can take advantage of the opportunities through the Yay community platform. And some of the activities which we've done on the ground in the YEI chapter in Uganda, as well as in other countries, is actually working with partners who can support in providing trainings on how to establish your business formally and how to understand the kind of taxation and the different legal setups that your business can take and what's best for you in the long run. So we actually work to help those who are not formalized to actually become formalized, because we know in the long run, when looking to scale, when looking to seek funding and investment, that being formalized is essential. So there's that. And then in addition, when it comes to advocacy and raising the voice of youth, we definitely take into consideration the voices of those in the informal sector across the house at ITC, not within the YEI community, but in a partner team that is here in the house called the Refugee and Employment Skills Initiative. We work actually in refugee camps in Kenya and in Somalia to help young people to actually become freelancers so that they can leverage their digital skills to actually then create employment for themselves. And many of these are operating in the informal sector. And then through our work at ITC being a UN agency, we work directly to support these youth to voice their needs through various UN fora and other events like the one that we're here today. So that's a bit about our work. It's not so specific to road safety, but as we are continuing to build this partnership with UNRSF and to tap into their network, I can give you the example today. I just spoke with yours about how we could potentially partner to support youth in both our networks. I think we will expand our offer specifically in this space to really take the needs of youth in road safety and to contribute them in international spaces where they can elevate their concerns and can further contribute to pushing the dialogue further. I hope to have answered your question, Kenneth.
Claire, thank you. That was a very good answer to the question. Thank you. And actually, Claire, you're still on because we have a question from you to Ricky, I believe.
Yes. So yeah, the work of SafeBoda has been recognized, I would say, around the world at this point. They've been recognized by TechCrunch and a number of other large media companies. But of course, as this is a space to inspire, I wanted to ask you, Ricky, what are some of the big rocks or challenges that SafeBoda is currently working to overcome in ensuring safe and sustainable mobility? You touched on a few earlier, but I was hoping you could expand. And then to follow up on that, you mentioned that recently you've expanded to Nigeria. And I wanted to ask what type of customer research and studying the market there went into your decision to go into Nigeria, and what continues to, or how does this research continue to inform the trajectory of SafeBoda in continuing to enhance and innovate on your offering? Thanks.
Thank you, Kira. Very good questions. It reminds me of those days when we were still in high school. The kind of question that would come through would be as slick as that one. So I think really there are two big challenges that we that we are facing as people who are in the industry. That one has not yet been fully accepted by the society. There's really a real challenge in that, but also an industry that does not exist comprehensively in the law. That has brought about two big challenges, and I want to break it down in two parts. One is that one of the biggest challenge that we actually have is the mindset of our own people. It starts with our border men understanding and appreciating the need for them to be compliant and possibly be different from the rest of the other members of the community. And through the training, we've been able to achieve that. As I said, we train them in road safety, customer service training, entrepreneurship, digital training, to the digital world, and all these things. And that makes them better groups of people in the society, as opposed to how people were looking at them. But then, as we prepare them, you also have a real challenge to deal with around the fact that people have, there's what they call I don't know the best word to use. If I find it, I will share. But there's really this, that you have people who have used the border industry for possibly the last 5 years. They have seen other people get involved in an accident. They have lost actually even close friends and relatives. But for them, they still believe it's okay for them to do it the other way around. And that was a big challenge that we had to go through. Even after we provided all this training, provided reflectors, provided helmets for our drivers, customers still refuse. A lot of our customers still actually, up to date, still refuse to wear the helmets. And the reason they say is that you are a well-trained driver, you come from SafeBoda, you're a graduate of the SafeBoda Academy. Why do I need to wear a helmet? Am I safe? So there's a real issue about the mindset of the people that really needs to be worked on. And basically, we are doing that using our network of drivers to make sure we communicate to them and prepare them to communicate and defend their position by just saying, this is for you, this is best for you. There are a lot of people out there who doesn't know how to use the road. I could be a good driver, but then other people could cause accident and stuff like that. And that kind of communication has helped in the transformation of the mindset of our own people. Now, the other part is really around the regulation. And right now, as I speak, we're really, really closely working with the Minister of Works and Transport to see to it that one is that the border actually has a comprehensive regulation. Minister of Works and Transport are working on 3 sets of regulation. One is what they call the Public Service Vehicle Regulation. 2 is the Motorcycle and Tricycle Regulation. 3 is the Digital Operators Regulation. So all this is supposed to help cover most of us who are in this sector. And we think that once we have a regulation, and we're actually pushing Minister of Works and Transport to actually even put fine on individuals who chooses to ride with a SafeBoda or a normal border that has a second helmet and chooses not to wear a helmet. Like literally the way they arrest the rest of the bordermen for riding without a helmet and put a fine on them, we're actually saying maybe government should go ahead and actually even arrest customers for being passengers on the back of a motorcycle and not wearing a helmet. It's the same thing that actually the discussion that we've actually been having even on taxis, that when you sit in a taxi or in a car and you don't put on a seat belt, you've actually even committed a crime. So we're saying that 2 things that we're dealing with. 2 things that we think would help. One is that sensitization in our own community or using our platform, our social media platform, the different events and the different programs that we have on TV and radios is also helping us. But also on the other side, working closely with authorities in making sure that there is actually a law that possibly forces people to be compliant is also another good thing. But general thing is really like around the work that Kenneth also does, is making sure that people are aware of the danger of actually not wearing a helmet or neglecting some of these key things that are important for our safety. Yes, it's true. We recently, that's over a year ago, that we expanded to Nigeria. And usually what happens is that, and already we have data about where and which cities have got the same potential that Kampala actually has. Originally, we were not supposed to go to Ibadan. We were actually supposed to go to Lagos. But because of the regulation that we were aware of, that we knew was coming, we kind of waited. And when that regulation was passed, the city, I think they call it Okada, we decided now to go to Ibadan. Ibadan is literally almost the same like Kampala. I mean, it's a very fast-moving town. It has the same congestion that Kampala has. Then basically we look at the key behaviors of other cities and relate them to what we already have, and the potential and smartphone adoption as well. It's very, very important. As I speak today, SafeBoda has grown from just being a ride-hailing app, which is the #1 in Africa. Of course, we are proud that we're the #1 in Africa, born from Cherando, Kampala, Uganda. This is something we're so proud of. Now becoming a super app that allows you now to move money, send money to a friend, be able to pay your bills, and be able to shop as well, and all these things is not available on the platform. So we look at the behaviors, and we also look at some of the trends, because there are some businesses that are close to what we do. You look at where Jumia has interest, you look at where Glover has an interest, and some of these brands, and also smartphone adoption helps you in understanding the market. When we came into Kampala, that was when we started this business, late 2014, let me say early 2015. No one thought that it was going to be possible for the people in Kampala to actually use smartphones to order for border. Everyone, because at that time, smartphone penetration in Kampala was, I think, at around 20-30%. Today, as I speak, it's skyrocketed, and you actually have global brands that has entered this market. Sorry, some of them left, or they never succeeded. But that was those global brands entering the market actually helped make the market ready and helped actually brought clarity to the work that we're doing. And lots of local people, especially the Ugandans, and even some of the global investors that were actually backing us, now started appreciating and started understanding the potential that SafeBoda has. But the unique thing that we actually have, apart from the rest, that makes us very distinct from the rest of the other people, is the fact that we embrace the power of community. We work with our people over actually, I think, when you look at the entire operation of SafeBoda, 90% of the leadership team are ex-border men, people who are riders in the industry, that has been in the industry, that has worked in the industry. Like myself, actually, I was a border man for 5 years. So that makes me a very experienced border officer and puts me in a better position to basically interact and make the best decision for our community. Yeah, so basically that's it. And yeah, I mean, I thank TechCrunch for always saying good things about us. And also something to mention here, which I'm very proud of, is around the fact that Google invested in us, and this is something that it's a part of its kind. It's a big bet. It keeps us going, it keeps us awake all the time. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you, Ricky. Thank you very much for that very extensive and very interesting answer. I believe you have a question now for Damiilola. If possible, if I can get the panelists to keep their videos on for this, that would be fantastic. But Ricky, your question for Damiilola.
Damiilola, I am a road safety advocate as a person, been very, very passionate about road safety all through my life since I started this journey in early 2014. My question to you is, how does Shuttlers incorporate road safety in its processes? And then also, what inspired your personal shift to fully dive into transport sector as a person? Thank you.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Ricky. It's interesting that I grew up in Ibadan before moving to Lagos, so I know the Ibadan city very well. Yeah. Okay. So first question: how do we incorporate, safety into our processes? Before Shuttlers, I've been doing Shuttlers since 2015. The company launched in 2016 officially, and one of the things that I see is that, so let me paint a scenario. You're trying to get from let me say Aja to VI, point A to point B. When you get to the bus stop, we have two types of public transportation. It's either the downfall, the yellow buses, or you have the BRT. The downfall buses are not so regulated as the informal sector. So you are not sure of the driver. You're not sure if he's, if of his mental state. You're not sure if the vehicle has been, vetted for quality, or if the tires are completed, if they've serviced it. All of those things, you're just praying and hoping that the vehicle will take you to your destination. And you also have the BRT, where they are very regulated and managed by Lamata and and the Ministry of Transportation. But recently there are some loopholes there. I mean, there was an issue this week where a lady entered the BRT and she was kidnapped and killed. And so we decided to start Shuttlers because of these safety challenges. that people face at the bus stop. And it is more serious for the people that are more vulnerable, like female users, like, like children, like, school, people that are going to school. So we also have a school solution. So back to your question about, what are the systems that we've put in place? First thing is that, for our model is kind of similar to Uber, where we don't own the vehicles. We partner with the bus partners to onboard their vehicles on our platform. And during that onboarding process is a rigorous process. The bus partner goes through a KYC process where they need to upload some documents where we need to verify. We've partnered with verification agencies to do that. And then you have the vehicle itself go through mechanical checks. We partnered with a company called MECO that goes through the comprehensive check of the vehicle, where they check all the engine, both the physical and the engine features of the vehicle. And then periodically, every week there are spot checks done on those vehicles, and quarterly there's another. So we also program as a vehicle is onboarded on our platform, they are scheduled for another mechanical check quarterly, but monthly and weekly they are spot checks by the Shuttlers team. Also, we have bus marshals and bus captains that are allocated to the buses that ensure that every morning when the drivers arrive at the first pickup point, we have checks and balances where they report issues with the mechanical. They have a checklist where they check some issues that they need to report to instantly to the customer service, Shuttlers customer service. That's on the vehicle end. For the driver end, what we have done is to as well do our own background checks, partner with a company called Verify Me, where they verify the drivers, verify their address, verify their national ID, and all of these things to verify where they are. And then we also have like a referee from them. And then we also do a test, apart from the fact that they came from a bus leasing company or an individual. There's a test that they have to pass. They also have a psychometric test we made them go through before onboarding them as well. And then they go through training monthly. One of the things that we want to implement that you guys do at SafeBoda is to have a driver academy where we want to customize our own content that we ensure that they have to learn, because we see that even though they come from companies or the professional drivers, we have to customize the type of drivers that we want to be driving on our own platform. On the user end, this is where technology drives the safety for a user. So before Shuttlers, you just wake up in the morning and get to the bus stop and pray and hope that you will get a bus. So while standing, so for example, if you are meant to get to work by 7 a.m. in the morning in VI, because of the traffic conditions, you need to be and you live on the mainland, you have to get to the bus stop either by 4:30 or by 5 a.m., which is too early, and these are the times, and which is still dark. These are the periods where hoodlums or thieves or anything can be at the bus stop. So what we've done is that you will pre-book. We have a predictable system where users are able to pre-book for their services online. You can book a week in advance, a month in advance. So the first thing, you have your seat assured. You have a guaranteed seat that you have a seat when you get to the bus stop. Second thing is that you are able to track arrival and departure of your buses. Worst case scenario, you don't have data, you can call the driver or call the bus marshal of the location of the bus, right? So you don't need to get to the bus stop too early or 1 hour early. So you are right there at the right time. You are at the right bus stop to enter the bus, and you don't have to go through all those hassles of getting harassed at the bus stop. Inside the bus as well, where on public vehicles, you have cases where there are harassment, or maybe somebody is trying to touch people in ways that they're not supposed to be touched. We have terms and conditions of use as well, where everybody recognizes that there are terms and conditions for using the service, and everybody respects those rules. And so we have those safety conditions also even during the trip for the commuter. So those are the things that we've put in place. there are also other learnings that we're also seeing from the recent occurrence by the BRT. We're seeing that there are other things that we also need to put in place. We're implementing higher tech trackers that can also inform driver behavior and that can help us quickly, nip some issues in the mud before, it gets, really serious. We're also partnering with security agencies for each location so that if there's any issue, we can quickly notify the security agencies in those areas per location. That's some of the things that we're also currently putting in place in the next couple of months. So to your second question about why did I venture into transport and tech, I have a background in chemical engineering from the University of Lagos, and I think it was a mixture of so many things. My experience, my background. Engineering is all about efficiency, how to make a system more efficient, how to make something more efficient for people to use, and that's what I implemented in Vote for Transport. Because I kept on finding it difficult for me to find a comfortable and affordable transport. So you have the ride-hailing services where it's comfortable but it's not affordable for an everyday man to use on a daily basis. Then you have the public transportation that is not so comfortable but is affordable. So we decided to create something right there in between. And we chose ride sharing, we chose mass transit, we chose bus sharing because the more people are able to share vehicles, the cheaper it is for a commuter to be able to afford this service. And my experience in terms of one of the reasons why I knew that we could solve this problem was that I traveled for the first time out of the country and to Dubai, and I saw for the first time what it meant to live in a city that had a smart transport system, and I really wished that for my country. And by the time I came back to Lagos, Nigeria, I decided to create a formula or system that could allow that work. Already there was a staff bus industry already in Lagos, but we saw that it was only the elite few companies, oil and gas companies, that could afford staff buses for their staff. So we realized that there was an opportunity for us to open that up to other smaller companies where they could buy seats in the buses instead of them buying the buses or leasing the buses, which can reduce the barrier to entry for companies. Then individuals can also access this service even if their company wasn't going to afford to buy this kind of buses for them. And so that's why we ventured into it. And it was also around the time where we saw companies like Uber, Airbnb, where they also taught us that, you don't have to own the infrastructure before you are able to run a tech transport company. That gave us the confidence that, without us even owning or buying the buses, we can efficiently run a bus sharing or mass transit solution that, would be solving a problem that we wanted it to solve. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you very much. No, it was a great answer. Thank you. And we've got just over 15 minutes left. I've got a final question from Bunmi to Kenneth, and then if we can have a bit of time, we do have some questions which would be great to ask the panel from the audience as well. So a quick question from Bunmi to Kenneth, and then we will go on to our audience questions. Bunmi, I think maybe you're
I'm going to make my question very short, Kenneth. So that you can give a question and you can still hear from the audience. I hope you can hear me.
We can hear you.
My video is on. Hope you can hear me. To support also SafeBoda, just expatiate a little bit more.
Thank you so much for the question, and thank you for the previous speakers for bringing in the digital and creative technology angle on road safety and safe mobility. So art for many has been used to communicate. It's an alternative governance tool that we use to communicate important messages, to break down the theories, or to break down the literature that many people would not get. So we translate all these bulky messages into visual and referable imagery context through the dance, through the songs, through the digital tools themselves, because it's also a part of the art. So as the global coalition, art and youth creativity has always been at the center of all our programming. And we acknowledge that the young people have something to bring on the table, because many times they've been sidelined, thinking that there's nothing really they can say or bring to the decision-making tables, and they've been left out on many government agendas. So art has provided a space for them to participate, because it allows free voice and expression. So when it comes to road safety and young people being the most affected by road crashes globally, the young people at all levels of community everywhere in the world need to utilize their inner potential, starting with their own tools within and around their communities to create, first of all, to create awareness about the danger the danger they face on our roads to their peers, but also to help us as we advocate on high-level engagements for safer roads and sustainable mobility. We utilize the youth at the grassroots who could easily mobilize to bring down these concepts to their peers at the community level through ways that they can understand and relate with. They love to sing, they love to dance, they love to draw, they love computers. So how do we utilize the tools that young people already love and want to relate with to communicate key messages on road safety and sustainable mobility? In Uganda, for example, I have coordinated campaigns that were art-driven, including the one I've already mentioned, the Art for Road Safety campaign that was taking shape in 3 African countries, that is Egypt, Senegal, and Uganda. We were creating awareness about the 30-kilometer-per-hour speed limit, about helmet wearing, and of course, also advocating for the policies around these very, very important road safety components. So we used music, we used visual arts, we had young people paint and draw their experiences, their realities. So we were able to get that message out there to the young people, and it was fun for them to participate. We mobilized really fast. And we came up with a song. In Uganda, we came up with a song called Yambala Helmet that translates into wear your helmet. And we had so many actors and players in road safety and transport participating in a dance challenge that was taking shape all over the social media. So we created that awareness through art. We did not do any dialogue. We did not organize any large meeting. All we did was to throw the ball to the young people and let them translate safety in their own way and how they experience it in their own country and community, and how they feel through visuals that speak to them. So that shows us how we need to, more than ever, and how the world more than ever needs to waken up to realize that the art that used to be called bad, because in Uganda, it was always called bad to practice art. You'd either be trying to drop out of school, or you really felt that your career, so art was like the only thing that people always wanted to run to. So we want to awaken the world that it's actually the art that is now responding to global challenges. It's the art that we are leveraging everywhere, even the tools we are using right now to communicate and to organize ourselves, to mobilize for social change on sustainable mobility. Is art, and it's the young people at the center of these innovations. So it's very important to start appreciating cultural creativity in all our development work on sustainable development agendas, because it deepens social cohesion and cultural appreciation in everyday development work in our lives. So, because human beings are emotional beings, and the only way we can communicate to them is to communicate it through ways that impact their emotions. So we understand that as creatives, and we want to use that to our advantage, that while people enjoy listening to music, listening to spoken word, listening to rap music, enjoy watching the dance pieces and watching drama and film, can we utilize these same tools to pass on messages that can actually bring the change we want? Because we've sat high-level meetings, so many of them. We've sat conferences and dialogues every now and then. But trust me, some of these conversations and the good points end at that level. They never reach the common person on the ground. So we're using activism as a way to break the bulk of information and to bridge the gap that has been existing in all our development work. So it's my plea to all development partners in sustainable development mandates to start to acknowledge that art in all its formats, whether performance, visual, digital, and tech, needs to now more than ever take on the space in all our programming efforts as we push for reduced deaths in road from road crashes and injuries. So lastly, at the Global Youth Coalition, we created a community that we tap in every now and then. These are young people from different countries of the world whom we believe are uniquely gifted, talented, and they have the energy and the zeal to see change in their communities. So we empower them with resources and seed funding to support their local initiatives on road safety and sustainable mobility. And majority of these actions are actually leveraging art and creativity to pass on the message to their peers, but also to advocate with authorities in their countries to listen to what young people are saying. Because not for many years, we've not had platforms where young people are welcome to speak, where young people are welcome to dialogue or to even express how they feel and how they want to enjoy the roads and how they want to be part of the global of the world. So we inventing a space that that acknowledges youth leadership, that appreciates youth creativity, and that wants to empower these young souls to take on the challenge of the global challenges and respond to it with everything they got, whether in the academia space, whether in the creative space, or in the digital tech space. So we want to trust them, and it's the same message we're sharing with all global leaders to now more than ever trust the young people and lead with them side by side. Let them come as they are with their creativity, with their, of course, some spaces young people are referred to as inexperienced and amateurs, but trust me, these amateurs have something new that could turn this world into a better place. So thank you so much. and I hope I've answered the question.
You absolutely have, Kenneth. Very, very, very substantive answer. Thank you. And you know, it's bringing, you know, this message right through to people's lives using a medium like art. It's tremendously powerful and technological innovation that you're bringing to that as well. I just a quick question that got through, and I'd like to start with Damiilola, if possible, if Damiilola hopefully is still with us, about you know, about gender really in the work that you've been doing, and what challenges female entrepreneurs face in this space. Just a very quick answer from you, but also I might go to the rest of the panel as well, just about this question about you know, safety of women on transport and what more we can do, and actually the role of women in taking this forward, that as you have shown in the work that you're doing.
All right, thank you, Abby, for that question. So, I mean, just right from the top, right? I mean, my co-founders were female. I mean, one of the reasons why it's just me now is the challenges that entrepreneurs face as a woman. It was not easy at the beginning, and the journey has not been easy. Even from looking or getting boss partners, for them believing that we could execute on this idea was, you know, a tough, you know, story to tell. Also getting investors to, you know, believe that we could execute on what we could do. Last year we raised our first, you know, seed funding, and that is not the case for most male-founded mobility startups. They usually get to raise pre-seed or raise seed earlier, but we raised about, you know, 3 to 4 years after we have, you know, great traction. And that's on funding side. As a company, we do not, I mean, our head of operations is a female, our head of supply operations is a female. We have a few bus partners that are, you know, women that own buses and, you know, that run the fleet management of their buses. We even, you know, highlighted, we have a video that we highlighted some of these women on our team. And even at, you know, the products that we build it, you know, considering all these people that the public transportation have neglected, you know, in choosing our bus stops, in choosing the way people book, in choosing the way routes are available, in mapping our routes, making them closer to where people live. All of these solutions, we have, the product managers have this type of users at the back of their mind, and it's customized for those kind of people to use the service. And so it's, I mean, it's because right from the top, you know, we have that, ensuring that we have that, looking at it from an eye of a woman, making sure that it's covered, and ensuring that both male and female are also enjoying the service, not only for female users. So that's what we're doing at Shuttlers, to ensure that as a company, both in our processes and for the products, we are, you know, breaking the bias.
Yeah, no, so it's very interesting, and just a quick question, I think, to Claire along those lines. I mean, looking at inclusivity in particular in the platforms that you run, how do you ensure that you get inclusivity? Just very briefly, we're kind of running out of time here, so I'd ask you to do a very quick answer.
Yeah, sure. So
if I get what you mean, sorry, I think you were talking to me. No problem.
Go ahead, Damiilola.
Right.
I can let you go. It's fine.
It's fine.
So, I mean, within the Yay community, we always take into consideration a few key pieces of data, which is, of course, age and gender, when doing our outreach, when surveying the community, also when looking into setting up our Yay chapters on the ground, of which I would say, I believe it's 50% of our Yay advisors to ITC are women, and having this gender balance is really essential. There is another team within ITC as well that is specifically focused on supporting women in trade and female entrepreneurship. So that is definitely something ITC on the whole is very focused on. We even use within ITC a mainstreaming guide to ensure that all of our project offerings and all of our programming are gender inclusive and also age inclusive. Now also taking into consideration disability inclusion. So it's definitely something we think about. And I just wanted to build off Damiilola's point, because I think something that is really critical here is that female founders are heard and listened to in these international spaces, because as she's just mentioned, women have a particular way that they interact in society. They may transport themselves differently. They may find different routes meaningful, and they may come against different challenges that perhaps male founders would not even consider when setting up their business. So also building off the question that I asked to Ricky earlier, it's really critical when doing your customer analysis and when, thinking about how you provide your service, that women are surveyed and women are included in those processes to be able to ensure that whatever product or service is created is inclusive of the specific, let's say, tendencies or challenges that women might face in transportation and in road safety. But yeah, I'll stop there. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. I mean, obviously, there's a lot more that can be said, but thank you. We're very pushed for time now. What I might do is just go to all of our remaining panelists and just get a very quick sort of 10 seconds or so from each of you as we come to the end of this session, just with a quick reflection on how do you really accelerate the social impact? I mean, you're doing tremendous work, all of you, but what more is needed to accelerate the social impact of what you're doing? Just sum up in 10 seconds if you can, just starting first with Ricky on that one, and then I'll move around the panel for a final word.
Lost a little bit, Avi. Would you want to come again?
Just how do you accelerate the social impact of what you're doing? What do you really need? What more do you really need to accelerate on your work? Just give me 10 seconds or so as an answer if you can. Just
in 10 seconds, basically what I think really for us to be able to achieve whatever we dream of, we have to put people in the center of this. And over the last couple of years, we've been able to learn from the small mistakes that were made and the things that people need for them to continue to enjoy the work that they do. And for us to really, to be able to create more safer environment and continue to create the impact that we need, we always need people get their feedback, get exactly and come product that fits their interest. Thank you. I was trying to use 10 seconds.
No, that's great. That's great. And just Kenneth, a quick word from you to close off.
Thank you.
Kenneth?
Thank you so much. My last word would be going to all development partners and implementing partners on road safety and sustainable mobility issues. Let's fund and implement solutions based on principles of social entrepreneurship, where our activities and goals can basically generate a positive return to the society. So putting that in mind, I believe it's the young people initiatives and organizations that we are talking about, because they are the key players of the change we're really looking for at the local level. So let's invest in youth work, youth investments, youth programs that are advancing the fight on reducing deaths on the roads. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kenneth. That's very powerful words there, and we should all heed those words and listen to them. Thank you, and take action. Bunmi, are you still with us? I don't know if you may have had to have gone. We'll go to Damiilola just for some final thoughts on really how we can accelerate and expand our impact on the initiatives that you're doing, what you need for it.
I mean, my simple question would be collaborations. I already see a place where, I'm going to message Bunmi after this conversation, message Ricky as well, and Kenneth. Let's see how we can collaborate. I think that will scale up, what we are doing in our private, companies, to see how we can scale up and collaborate to expand our reach to different regions.
Thank you. Thanks, Damiilola. That was a very succinct answer. Cheers. Bunmi, I think, is not here. Is that correct? She's just left, had to leave. I think so. Let's go just to Claire with a couple of very quick closing thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, the Yay community's purpose is to support young entrepreneurs to scale up their venture. That's the whole reason for the platform's existence. And as mentioned before, there are 30,000 other young entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, business mentors, and ecosystem actors on the platform that youth can connect with and learn from. And as I believe it was Kenneth who mentioned earlier, and I think Ricky as well mentioned this, it's all about community and building those connections and seeking out those opportunities to learn from one another. I've just put in the chat, the link to join the community again and to get involved with our group space that UNRSF and Yay community are operating, because we will be having learning sessions. We will be linking young entrepreneurs to mentors. So let's keep the discussion going. And as Damiilola mentioned, continue to seek out these partnerships to scale up impact. So over for me.
Brilliant. Thank you very much to Claire. Thank you, Claire. And thank you to all the panelists. It was a really detailed and also inspiring discussion on the role of young people to really advance road safety and sustainable mobility as a whole. Just to close off now, and thank you all, but just to highlight some of the links to go to for more information, as Claire put in the chat, social.yaycommunity.com to visit. We had a great link as well from the Youth for Road Safety Claiming Our Space.org, which we would really encourage everybody to go to follow up, and also roadsafetyfund.un.org is a really important area to go to, the Road Safety Fund itself, and do get in contact with the UN Road Safety Fund if you're interested in anything that was raised here and to take any of these issues and support for global road safety forward. We've got a very important few months going to the high-level meeting on road safety, and a lot of this these issues and this discussion will be taken forward through that as well. So thank you all very much for joining us, and we hopefully will keep in contact with all of you. Have a good day and goodbye. Thank you to the panelists as well.
Goodbye.